Monday morning, Hamby says he woke up to investigators arresting two teens in his care, ages 16 and 17, after deputies say they found the body of a third child he was fostering, 13-year-old Daryl Lowry, by the water. The arrest warrant lays out what investigators say happened.
So we got to go to McCormick County in South Carolina because we have a strange case where we have a 13-year-old black kid who ends up getting drowned by, might be his foster brother. So yes, we're talking about this child right here, 13-year-old Daryl Lowry. It's a tragic situation where his foster brother, it seems like, has been arrested and charged with murder for his drowning death.
Emily, thanks. Tonight we are continuing waiting on answers after a teen was killed on the lake in Modoc, South Carolina. So far, two teens have been arrested. A 17-year-old accused of stabbing, then forcefully drowning the 13-year-old victim. This is Landon Moore. SLED tells us he and a 16-year-old, along with 13-year-old Daryl Lowry, got into a fight. Investigators believe Lowry was stabbed, then held underwater until he died. Tonight, your Liz Owens working to get the details about what happened as state investigators continue to work the case.
Take a drive down Highway 28 into the southern stretch of McCormick County, where pine trees crowd the roadway and lake homes hug the coves of Clarks Hill Lake. This is Modoc Shores, an established, highly desirable lakefront community just off the highway, where lake life is the selling point and where the unthinkable unfolded. On these banks, investigators say two teens killed another teen. And what they say happened sounds less like real life and more like words you expect in a horror script, not an arrest warrant. A fight breaks out, a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old against a 13-year-old. A knife comes out, the younger teen is stabbed, and then investigators say the two older teens held Daryl Lowry underwater until he stopped breathing.
Yeah, they need to be charged and sentenced to life. They picked on they basically jumped a 13-year-old kid. Let's keep going, though.
The McCormick County Sheriff Office asked the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, to take the lead, citing a conflict of interest pertaining to the parties involved. The sheriff didn't explain what that conflict was. We emailed for records from social services, the sheriff's office, the coroner, and county emergency services. Those who did respond told us to direct questions and records requests to SLED. SLED, in turn, referred us to its news release, saying the investigation is active and ongoing. In McCormick County, Liz Owens, on your side.
Yeah, now that was the initial reporting. Let's get over into more details about this.
Tonight, we're learning more about the foster home 13-year-old Daryl Lowry was in just before he was killed. The McCormick County Board of Commission Chair Bernie Hamby says the three teens were staying in his Modoc Shores foster home. Authorities say Lowry was drowned by 17-year-old Landon Moore on Monday after a fight involving a 16-year-old. Moore was denied bond. Hamby says he's fostered more than 300 boys in 13 years, but now he says he can't do it anymore. Tonight, your Liz Owens breaks down what we've learned from him.
Yeah, I understand that. You had a kid murder another kid. Yeah, you cannot be a foster parent anymore. It's over with.
The water is still at Modoc Shores. It's the kind of quiet people come looking for when life gets too loud, a place apart from the rush and worry. Bernie Hamby says that's why more than a decade ago, he opened the door of his home to teen boys who needed somewhere safe. And tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from the McCormick County Council chairman about something very public that rocked his private life. In a statement he sent us today, he writes, "I've been fostering boys who needed a gentle place to land during the hardest times of their lives. The door of my home has been open to their trauma, their pain, and their need for some sense of normalcy. Monday morning, Hamby says he woke up to investigators arresting 2 teens in his care, ages 16 and 17, after deputies say they found the body of a third child he was fostering, 13-year-old Daryl Lowry, by the water. The arrest warrant lays out what investigators say happened. The 16-year-old and 17-year-old against the 13-year-old. A knife comes out, the 13-year-old is stabbed, and then the 2 older teens held Daryl Lowry underwater until he stopped breathing. Bernie's statement continues. Never in a million years did I think that this kind of violence would ever touch a place of so much joy. My heart is shattered over what was done to Daryl. You can never know what a person, even a child, is fully capable of. In the worst of ways, I've now seen how evil people can be.
Main question, could you not see this, that the boys were out like this? It's hard for me to understand how someone could rape. I don't know how long they were in his care, but he had no signs that these children shouldn't be left alone with this 13-year-old. No signs at all. Wow. We lost a 13-year-old, and it's a tragic scene, and somebody needs to pay for it. The real question is it just the kids, or should the foster parent also pay for it? Let's get into it.
Hamby tells us the Department of Social Services called him for emergency placement of all 3 teens. He tells us he's in his 70s and stopped fostering, but he says he agreed to take the boys because it was an emergency. In South Carolina, DSS doesn't remove kids from a home. Only law enforcement or a family court judge can take a child into emergency protective custody. Hamby says Daryl came to him on Friday after he ran away from his home in Chester. Earlier this month, police asked for the public's help when Daryl went missing. They later updated the post saying he had been safely located. Bernie tells us Daryl came to him after that post. He also says the 13-year-old was supposed to go back home to Chester on Monday, the day he lost his life.
Wow.
In McCormick County, Liz Owens, News 12.
What? He was supposed to go back the same. What was the fight about that they wanted to gang up on this young child about? It's a tragic situation, y'all. We have to keep Daryl Lowry in our prayers, because it's a tragic situation, and the persons who did this deserve to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Let's get over into the AI breakdown, y'all, just to see what else we can find out, because this is a tragic story, and we got to keep up with this. So, as we know, in McCormick County, we had a 17-year-old Mr. Moore, and it was arrested and charged following the drowning death of 13-year-old Daryl Lowry at a private boat dock on Storm Thurmond Lake. The tragic incident took place at the residence of Modoc, South Carolina. So we know that Daryl, a 13-year-old, a temporary foster child at the Chester County, South Carolina. And then we had the suspect. The 17-year-old has been charged with murder as an adult and is held without bond. An unnamed 16-year-old was also arrested and transported to the South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice. Wow. So much, I don't know what you call that. I don't know who you blame for this, but it's a tragic situation. So on the morning of July 20th, 2026, a physical altercation occurred at the residential boat dock. Arrest warrants state that the child ended up suffering a knife laceration before Moore and the 16-year-old intentionally held him underwater until he stopped breathing. They ended up discovering his body at 7 a.m. So the incident occurred at the home of McCormick County's council chairman, Bernie Hamby. All 3 teenagers involved were foster children placed in his home. Officials stated that he was asleep inside the residence when the murder occurred and is not a suspected in any wrongdoing. Due to a clear conflict of interest involved in the county councilman chairman, the McCormick County Sheriff's Office immediately transferred it over to SLED. So the family of Daryl has hired attorney Tyler Bailey to launch an independent civil investigation into the state foster placement process, supervision protocols, and safety measures. Y'all, that's a good question. The main question I have is, did the suspected child or suspected killer have any past instances of violence? Did they know that they were placing this young boy with that violent teen and did not care about it? That is the main question. So it says that the 13-year-old revealed several critical details regarding the suspect. So the formal statements, it revealed more details about the suspect. It says that the arrest warrants described the 17-year-old Landon as 6'2", 180-pound male, while Moore was booked into the adult facility. They still haven't made known about the 16-year-old accomplice. It says that the McCormick County Magistrate's Office formally denied bond, and his bond will remain denied until a higher level court of general sessions judge evaluates the case at a future date. So we got homeowners, and the council was known to locally are highly prominent figures in the foster community. He believed that McCormick County only licensed foster parent. Hamby stated that he had been fostering boys for 13 years. And then we know he released an emotional statement. Investigators revealed that he had just arrived at the home for temporary emergency placement. He was only scheduled to stay there a brief while, awaiting a long-term transfer to a different foster home. So he wasn't going home, he was going to a different foster home. He was originally in Chester County, over 100 miles away from where he was killed. The family members noted that he was a student at Chester Middle School. And of course, we know that they're going through an independent investigation. We'll have to find out more information. I wonder, the main questions I have is if this child, we got to keep saying his name, if this child, Daryl Lowry, if this 13-year-old had any chance in the household, was the killer known for his violence, or was this just a spur of the moment thing? Did they know they was placing this young child with someone that violent who would stab a 13-year-old child and hold him underwater until he stopped breathing? And we got to tell how it is too. The 16-year-old deserves just as much as the 17-year-old. It's a tragic situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said.